again, YouTube. I am Dr. Kendo, and I'm in a hamburger suit. This is hilarious. Anyway, we are doing the Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor Creation series in both Unlimited and Unmasked for today's object request creation. We started off with an assassin as the source object, as you can see right here. Go for the male assassin. It's going to do a little bit better for the source, I guess, for our object today. And we're going to be using superhero for the arms, and later on we'll use Sandman for the legs. But today's object request is a character that won by many votes. You know, my new requesting system for objects, if you are not familiar with it, or if you're new to the series or anything, is basically that I do it on a most popular request, top comment, voting kind of system. Basically, you guys comment on the most recent episode. Any other comments will not count for requests on any other episodes, just on the most recent for the week. I'll let it go about 3 to 4 days, and then I will turn off the comments for that week, because by that point, you guys will have commented enough and thumbs upped and upvoted whatever posts you agree with that I should make, and we'll make the most popular requests. So today's winner is Deadpool. You guys really wanted to see Deadpool. I saw a lot of comments, so that's really awesome. I'm glad that you guys like him. So you saw that we put the Sandman on there and painted the leg part red. I actually did that because the Sandman kind of has a red tip at the end of his shoes, so his shoes are kind of multicolored with that black, and then there's like a red tip. And honestly, you could do a lot of different designs for Deadpool. You know, there's been like a Deadpool that has like a dark blue kind of shade instead of black. We're doing one that has black for Scribblenauts Unlimited, but I am going to make Deadpool in Scribblenauts Unmasked, and I'll give him kind of a dark blue, different shading, different colors, and different patterns for those colors. So yes, the eyes right here, of course, the little white part is dot, so you just take a dot and double that, and then fin is the black part. We did that also for our Spider-Man creation, if you remember that. And yes, I'm using a bow staff to do the little swords or staffs that are on Deadpool's back. You know, some iterations of Deadpool have a double staff kind of behind him, crisscrossed. This is actually, some people said that I should have used that for my Donatello Ninja Turtles thing, and I actually disagree because it has that little point on the end of it. Donatello's bow staff in the original Turtles that I did my turtle creations off of, his bow staff does not look like that. You know, it doesn't have that little point on the end. So I think using the letter I would have been better than what I did, but I still did it all right. I did it with a pole. We're of course creating the little Deadpool head icon thing that goes on his belt buckle too. So if you saw that, I basically just used a yarmulke, that is, you know, the little Jewish hats, and doubled it and made dots within a sphere and a circle. So you guys know I like to read background information and fun facts, so let's get started with that for today's episode. Of course, Deadpool is the Marvel Comics anti-hero, as I can only seem to describe him, who first appeared in the New Mutants comic number 98 in 1991. He was originally a villain character, and again, while he could be considered a hero sometimes, I still like to call him an anti-hero nowadays. It's just ambiguous, you know? Anyway, the Merc with a Mouth, as he's been called, has many powers and or abilities. Probably the main one would be his accelerated healing, which allows him to regenerate any destroyed tissue at a superhuman rate, as well as making him immune to all known diseases. Supposedly, this super healing ability also supercharged some cancerous tumors that he had, which then rapidly spread across his whole body, and ultimately resulted in massive amounts of scar tissue and disfigurement. So it's assumed that Deadpool's completely masked appearance hides that very disfigurement. Apparently, Deadpool's healing also slows down his aging process, as he's speculated to be around 800 years old. His prowess is not just physical, as I know a lot of his abilities also come from his swordsmanship and his assassin-like, mercenary-like nature. Not only this, but he also has a magic satchel, if you want to call it that, which contains unlimited ammunition and a plethora of weapons, which is why I'm scripting our creation here to shoot a projectile, i.e. he'll throw a smoke bomb or a grenade. He has many more devices and powers, but I really can't get into all of them in the creation or in this commentary. I've got the Deadpool out on this map right here. It's the big city, and we'll test his sword script as, you know, I have him script basically in the behaviors to use swords, so it looks like that works, as I've dropped down this evil bull, and he took that out, no problem, and the grenade thing worked, or the smoke bomb, I should say. In this game, of course, I started off with the source object as an assassin, and so the source assassin in this game will attack Maxwell, so your Deadpool will attack you. Right now, I had to turn on an immortal adjective. You know, I put the adjective immortal to my Dr. Kendo avatar, because otherwise, Deadpool would be slicing and dicing on me. So we're having Deadpool take out enemy after enemy, and it's working, and he's a cool creation. I like how he turned out. But I did just want to kind of go back and look at one more thing here. I know that his legs, we could probably add a few more things just because we have more stamp space to do it, and so why not add some more details? I'm using an electronic more so for the shape. It's not actually an electronic necessarily that he wields on his belt. He has all types of stuff. As I said, he's got a magic satchel, of course, which we will try to include on his right leg there, kind of on his hip. We'll do that with the pack, or it's basically the same stamp as a backpack. But I've also got an I, just the letter I, for some of the straps that are on his legs for these different various weapons and things that he carries. So that's kind of the design. I thought that, the details that we could really get into here with our Deadpool creation. So he's pretty epic. Let's see if we can get him with a katana, because I know that Deadpool has used katanas in the comics and things like that, and the various video games that I've played with him that he's been in. We're making this huge, strong man for him to fight, and that was really actually quite an easy battle for our Deadpool in Scribblenauts Unlimited. But as I said, I made him in Scribblenauts Unmasked as well, so we're gonna go to that. I do just want to say, please, if you can, just please refrain from telling me to do the creations in one game or the other. In this particular case, someone did actually ask me, can you make Deadpool in Unmasked and in Unlimited? And normally I don't have enough time to do that and everything. It's just I have had enough time, I guess, in advance preparing for this, because it's been about 2 weeks that our Deadpool creation was in the queue to be created. But the reason that I ask if you could just kind of stay away from saying that is because I do like to stick to Scribblenauts Unlimited. Not everybody has Scribblenauts Unmasked, so especially with this Deadpool character and almost all the creations that I do in that game, it uses stamps of the superheroes and villains basically from the DC library, and people who are playing in Scribblenauts Unlimited cannot access those, if they don't have Scribblenauts Unmasked. So that's why I want to keep it basically confined to things that you can enter in both games. So if you are playing in Unmasked, you can pull anything that I do from the Scribblenauts Unlimited because it has all the same stamps. But hey, anyway, if you're curious, we used Arsenal for the body and the arms, and basically the source object is a character named Arsenal from the DC library, and Ultra Boy was for the legs, so we took both legs as Ultra Boy, and I am going to give him some superpowers. That's one thing also exclusive to Unmasked. We're going to do the smoke cloud, that could probably be like one of his smoke bombs or just his teleportation or something like that, that creates a cloud of smoke, so I just wanted to include that in there. But yeah, Unmasked, as you can probably imagine, we're doing the scripting here. I'm going to basically mostly just emulate kind of the scripting that I did with Scribblenauts Unlimited, but of course we have these superpowers. But I was going to say, Unmasked is a great game for making superheroes and supervillains and things like that. You would probably figure, but I just had to mention that, because I think this Deadpool in Unmasked is probably going to be superior in creation details and everything, and just accuracy to the real Deadpool character. Hopefully you noticed that we did do some different shading, some different details, basically just made his costume slightly different than the Deadpool from Unlimited, and it was based on a different image of Deadpool that I'm looking at here. Usually I Google image whatever characters we're creating, and I basically just try to base it on those images. I try to base the creation while I'm looking at it, so as I'm creating, I'll simultaneously keep looking over at it. So we've got our Deadpool here in Gotham City. Let's make him fight some villains, why not? Villain. There we go. Okay, one portion that's also exclusive to Scribblenauts Unmasked is having the Bat computer. So we've put out a Lex Luthor, and it looks like everything is working out, and that grenade was epic. That was crazy. So the scripting for that was pretty fun, and it looks like it worked, and it defeated the Lex Luthor in like no time. So let's do another villain here. Who can we find to fight? Let me filter it by villains, and let's go with this guy, MASH. I'm not super familiar again with all the old obscure DC library and everything, and some of the series that I did not follow as a kid and everything like that. I was into comics, but not like not as crazy as some people out there and stuff, but I was basically, I had a decent exposure to comics. I do want to edit this Deadpool creation just for one more thing. I want to give him the belt logo as well for the belt buckle. So let's just do a sphere again and a circle to put within that sphere, and then we'll probably just do the same exact thing. I'll do the yarmulke and paint it black. That looks good. And we'll put the 2 little white dots for eyes. Try to make them as small as you can. I know that the proportions might be a little bit off. Usually those eyes are probably looking a little bit smaller than that, but that's okay. It looks good. So I want to thank you guys so much for viewing. I mean, the support has been crazy and the channel has been growing, and, I just really appreciate it. You guys are rocking. So, of course, as I said at the beginning, you leave your comments here on this episode. For this week, I'll be on my anniversary with Mrs. Kendo. Her and I got married on September 1st, and that is Labor Day this year, and so we'll just be returning back from our anniversary trip to a beach town that we're going to here in Texas, but we'll be there basically the Saturday the 30th up until Monday the 1st. But yes, the next object will be picked basically probably around Wednesday, September 3rd, so if you leave your requests until then, it could have a chance of getting picked up. Just leave one request at a time, please. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.